Welcome to the Fun Astrology Midweek Touch Base here for January 21st. Thomas and Kristin with you, and we are going to let a very exciting cat out of the bag right here, right now. Kristin?
On February 15th, we'll be doing a speed reading with me, Thomas, Elisa Dixon, and Dr. Rita, who is a wonderful psychic. And so we'll be looking at 3 charts. So this Friday, we are opening up the spots at noon. So go to hightimelineliving.com to get your space.
All right, and this is going to be fun. It's going to be amazing because we are combining this with Dr. Rita Louise. She's a lady that I've known for almost 10 years, I think, or maybe more. And she helped me through some of my early heart stuff. And the podcast with her, about 45 minutes of introduction and who she is and what she's about, is currently on the Subconscious Mind Mastery podcast. So you can check that out. But she just breaks in. We're going to be talking astrology, and she'll just break in and say, blah, 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 and she'll be right. So it's going to be an amazing conversation. What we need are people who know their full birth time, and that includes the exact time. So if you don't know your exact time, you're not certain about it, please don't invest in this because you won't get the maximum benefit. But we are going to have a blast. These are so much fun. Can't wait to have Kristin, Elisa, and me working together on these. And we want you a part of it if you have some things that you'd like to get some answers to, which I think is about all of us right now on anything.
Absolutely. We're excited to work with Dr. Rita. She'll be getting inklings, and we'll be taking that and looking at the astrology cycles.
All right. So 8 p.m. Sunday, February 15th. It'll all go live. So it's like click, 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 refresh, because these 3 is going to go fast. And that will, we'll make it live on the website, hightimelineliving.com, Friday at noon Eastern. All right, we do have a very important chart that we wanted to talk about, and I guess I marked this, and now we're not doing that anymore, so we'll just do that. Clean it. Don't you wish your messes were that easy to clean up? But you remember last week we talked about, we were right here at the end, right there, of Capricorn, and we were talking about the planets, these planets that are now all thinned out, were all stacked up in Capricorn, and they were kind of overshadowing Pluto. Well, those of you on the video can tell, and if you're on audio, we have now in Aquarius, we have Mars, Sun, Pluto, Mercury, and Venus, all in that order. Now, the chart that we're showing on the video is for Friday because we are going to focus in a minute here on the Sun and Pluto. But, Kristin, we have today, here on Wednesday, we have another aspect that's happening that's already happened in this chart.
Yeah, Sun and Mercury are conjunct today. And so we are halfway through Mercury's direct motion. We go into Mercury's pre-retrograde shadow on February 11th, getting ready for its retrograde in Pisces. So right now is the clarity point. It's the point between where Mercury is functioning great in Aquarius. So if the ideas are flowing today, that's that energy.
Okay, perfect. Now, let's talk about what's coming this week and going into the weekend, because this is just super strong energy. I mean, look at this. You can just see from your eyes there's not much else, anything going on all around the rest of the chart. I'm not making light of these squares, but we're not going to focus on them today. The bottom line is the focus is the pyramid. And we are setting our sights now on the relationship between the Sun, Pluto. This is a new play, Kristin. This is a whole different dynamic than it was last week, particularly related to Saturn and Neptune. But look who's in between them. Lunar.
Yeah, this is a way different play than last week. We now have a full Aquarius stellium. And so that Aquarius house in your chart is loud, it's active, and it's right in the middle of the Great Pyramid.
And the other variable that I know all of us are feeling, not to leave Uranus out of this because everything is so connected, and this is why, and I know everybody's feeling this. I talked to a friend over the last weekend, and he's just kind of like, feel like he had the manhole cover up. It's like, and it's everybody. I know we're not saying, and yet some people, we had a comment last week here on the YouTube channel that somebody said, hey, I'm doing great. And they had all these prominent aspects. They were tied in. It's like, so it really is. This hammers the point that collectively we're feeling this. What in the world is going on? Those of us who follow this, and if you've followed this work and our channel for a while, our podcast, we've been talking about this. So it's really not that much of a surprise. And yet when it hits, I had something hit me a couple of days ago that was just like the very dissolving that you were talking about with the Sun and Pluto, that it does. It tears things down. And there's an area of my life, and I'll just mention it, it's the audiobooks. That is a technology that's changing, and we all know it. And digital voices are getting better and better every day. And at some point, the audiobook that I've spent the last 10, 12 years doing is going to be like the old 8-track cassette tape, that you can't even find a player for it. So we know what's coming. And when it hits, I just have to say, when it does hit you and it hits you between the eyes, it's not that fun.
Yeah, that's Pluto. It breaks things down and makes you look at things in a new way. And so now we're starting this brand new cycle of the Sun and Pluto where it'll be a full year before it reaches this point again. And so this is the point that we see what is breaking down and what do we need to rebuild.
And it's things that we've been comfortable with. It's things in our country, in our world that we've been comfortable with. And we're seeing them challenged right now on levels that we never could have expected. And yet, haven't we been talking about that the Great Pyramid is exactly this? And there are other areas of it that we've also mentioned that I'm not even going to bring into the conversation. But if you think hard enough back, you'll know what we're talking about. And the United States apparently changed one of their big major departments to reword it according to what I'm not going to mention. But, that's in here too.
Yeah, you're probably feeling that Sun Pluto, and especially with Pluto now being in Aquarius, this is a group transformation. This is a community outlook that is changing, and don't we all feel that? Aquarius is so much about the collective, and here we are activating that placement right now with all of these planets making their way to the conjunctions.
And Kristin, there's only 4 degrees between the Sun Pluto on Friday and Venus over here. So everything about our lives is stacked into this. The personal planets, as we talk about. So Mars, our initiative. Maybe our initiative is wanting to explore something different. That we're looking at things differently. We have different interests. If we were to start something, Mars, then maybe we want to start something new, and it might even be revolutionary new in our lives. Or, because Mars is just stacked in there, Mars also represents conflict and challenge. So it could be that we are being challenged in some areas that we used to hold dear. Like Kristin said, if thoughts are popping, well, that's the aspect of Pluto, certainly, because one thing that Reinhold Ebertin did, and I don't know how you can quantify this, but Reinhold Ebertin in those cosmobiology book said that Pluto is 3 times the strength of Mars. Well, like I said, I don't know how you put that into a bottle, but what we're talking about is an enormous amount of power here. Look at this. I mean, this is us, the sun. That's you. That's your essence, is just sandwiched in this incredible energy right now of Pluto and Mars. This is ominous to look at to me.
It is a power struggle that could be coming up. We also look at the Oracle planet, and Mars is the first to rise in the morning. And so that too is another indication of things just being a little bit more just reactive. And because what is Mars other than action?
And then if you're feeling like your brain is popcorn on fire, well, it is. There's that. And then obviously, Venus comes into so many things. Money is such a big deal right now, and we've talked about that. But it's also things like what we love and value. Think of value. I love you, what you tell your partner. I love you. I value you being in my life. I love beautiful things around me. I love my decorations. I love my furniture because I chose it and it made me happy. I love my pet. These are the things that Venus represents, and it also is coming under even all of this. So one of the things that we've talked about offline, don't make major decisions right now. If you are feeling all of this, the best thing you could do is to wait, because just as fast as it moved out of Capricorn and into Aquarius, it's all going to move here. And we're only literally not even a week away from Neptune moving into Aries. Saturn will be behind it by about 3 weeks. And the whole world, I promise you, my mom used to say, when we were teenagers, she would tell my brother and me, what you love at 18, you'll hate at 21. And she was saying, don't fall in love with something too quickly. So don't fall in love with ideas right now. Don't get too attached to what you're feeling today. And that's something that I'm absolutely doing. And one thing that Kristin mentioned as we were talking about this before we hit record was that after this passes, then the rebuilding begins.
Yeah, we are at that phase that Saturn and Neptune are going to make one last conjunction in Aries, and then that rebuilding starts, because right now there is the dissolving phase, and that's what we're in. And so this is that point that you see what isn't going to hold. Where is the foundation starting to crack, and where are we starting to see what needs new foundations?
So when you're journaling, you can start journaling about what's next and start asking those questions. What's next? Okay, I was clearly told to do audiobooks, and I will clearly be told or feel to do what's next, and you will too. So whatever all of this shakes out to be, I think the big thing for right now is hold the space and don't try to make big, massive, major decisions unless you have to. If you're facing a medical diagnosis and you need to make a decision, pray for wisdom. But if you can hold the time, wait, and not just February, not just March, wait until the middle of the year kind of thing. This is a dry stretch. And don't forget that Jupiter sitting over there that we haven't talked about is still in retrograde. And when Jupiter's in retrograde, nothing really moves forward very far, very fast.
Yeah, Neptune is the planet of faith, and I think that that's what we all need to rest our thoughts on right now, is faith and letting things just kind of fall into place, right? In these moments where uncertainty just feels a little bit extra.
So the one thing that I think we can camp on is we will all get our answers when they're needed and not before. All right. Hope that sets you up well for the rest of the week and even into the weekend. Kristin will be back tomorrow, and I'll see you on Friday.
Much love. Talk soon.